That's you. Please stand up. Start with your name. Great. So my name is Christina.
Well, this is my first personal development.
Perfect.
So I'm not too sure what I need to
Perfect.
share.
My name is
How I need to
Christina.
share, so.
My name is Christina. Start with that.
Okay, my name is Christina.
Let's hear it for Christina! Perfect. Now you're embarrassed. So I'll make you feel a little bit better. What's one thing that you learned so far as you've been listening to our conversation tonight?
I think one thing that kind of touched me the most is, I guess, just listening to your story and just, just being here in this community and stuff like that, and now starting to change where I'm at in my views, is that I'm now, not the same person that I was before. I'm totally different.
Awesome. And what's one way that you're different?
I'm different in a way where I'm more vulnerable than I was before. So, Erica brought me in a year ago, and I was against her.
Oh, yeah. I understand. I mean,
in my career and being a mom. So I, like you, I know it all. And been in sales for 10 years, and she didn't tell me anything that I wasn't trained and didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
So, in coming to her in a different state of mind, I realized I don't know everything.
Okay.
And I came to her humbly, like, I don't know nothing, I need your help. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
So you just learned something.
Yeah.
So by the way, you guys, I'm just doing an invitation so that you know what face-to-face looks like. Wow, what a surprise. So I'm always teaching people how to learn, how to learn, how to learn. We forget that the people that we're talking to are human. They have kids and lives and issues, and we wake up with their hair messy, and they gotta work it all out, and they poop in the morning just like you do. So thank you so much. Who doesn't, but you all. Taking your tablets, you're pooping in the morning. So thank you so much for sharing. And it's interesting because there's so many people that are like, oh, in order to speak or in order to make a difference, I need to have learned a certain amount and experienced a certain amount to be able to have the opportunity to share. I bet you could share all day long about whatever you were selling and whatever your experience in your sales position is, and with comfort and grace and ease, right? But the minute I ask you to get up in front of a group of people, some of which you know and some of whom you don't, it's a completely new feeling. And not only did you share, but you also shared that what you're sharing is vulnerability. And one of the lines that we're talking about is perfect vulnerability is perfect protection, because once you're vulnerable, there's nothing else you have to lose. So it becomes the most powerful tool we have. Mm-hmm. And we so often want to hide our vulnerability because we think it's weak and we think someone is going to do something to us as a result of seeing it. And so we do everything we can to put the mask up to be something that we think will keep people away. Keep people knowing the parts of us that they will agree with in order for them to never find out the parts we don't want anybody to find out, just in case they don't agree. And here you are, courageously standing up in a first-time personal development kind of type setting, sharing vulnerably. Oh my gosh. Wow. So in the next level one, we do a lot of acknowledgement, because it takes something to be confident in what you're sharing. And as you grow your business, the things that tend to confront people the most is, I'm going to go share with you my story, and I'm going to wait until you ask me enough questions where I can actually get to why I'm talking to you. And people aren't patient. It's like, oh, I can't wait for that. Let me tell you all about it, like right now, come on. Let me tell you right now, it's all great, but you're gonna love it. Come work out, we have all these things, it's gonna be great, you're gonna love it. And then we forget that, wait a minute, what do you like to do on a daily basis? Do you ever go outside? Do you like working and moving your body at all? Oh, good. Well, now I can actually have a conversation with you. Our conversations that we have with our best friends are the same conversations that the people who you're talking to every day are waiting to have with you. They're just waiting for someone to actually care enough to ask them about how their day was, about what's important to them, about their favorite book that they read, even though they don't think that it's personal development, but somehow they have all these amazing lessons for their children. They wait for the conversation to come to them, and so they make it super awkward until it does. And what we're engaged in is getting to know people at the heart level. What we're engaged in is inviting people to show up in whatever their gifts are, whatever the things you think are the smallest things that come the easiest to you, that's what we're inviting you to show up as. We're inviting you to celebrate the things you take for granted because someone else doesn't. Someone else doesn't have those things, doesn't see it that way, doesn't feel it that way, isn't excelling in that way, and so you are the perfect person to teach them. But if you forget that you're the perfect person because you have those gifts, then the world doesn't get the benefit of the gifts you were designed to give. And so in the Next Level program, we really spend a lot of time reminding you how many beautiful gifts you are.
And when you share those gifts, you're actually giving people permission for them to share theirs. So when you're being vulnerable, you're giving them permission. It's now okay to be vulnerable. And when you're really connecting with someone and you're sharing something authentically with them, now they have that permission too. And like Monica said, so often we're just so focused on the end goal that we forget to just really connect with people. And the other thing that I was, while you were sharing, that was going through my mind, is just a little tip that I have taught myself, which is when I'm about to get up and speak, and I'm learning and I'm growing, and I have this conversation, I had it before I came up here, is who has a voice in their head that talks sometimes, that tells them things, right?
Yeah.
So that voice is pretty, it's loud, and it's, for me personally, it's loud, and it's getting lower and lower and lower, and it still talks. And now we have a different relationship. It used to be...
That voice and I.
Yes, that voice and I. My relationship used to be that it told me things and I believed it. Like whatever it told me, it was true. Because that was the one lens. That voice obviously is there for a reason, and I believed it. And now that voice sometimes isn't so nice, and sometimes judges me and tells me
Who
things...
has a loud, not nice voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have this wonderful relationship where I say, voice... Thank you so much for your input. I know that you're telling me that and it's supposed to serve me in some capacity, but I'm really not going to listen to it, so thank you, and you can go away now. And so that judgment before I get in front of the room and before I share, or even before I'm going to share my story, or if I'm going to go up and do a face-to-face, that judgment, I'm clear that if this is contribution, there's no space for judgment inside of contribution. The two just cannot exist. So as long as I know that my intention is just to contribute, and it doesn't have to look a certain way, that I'm just being authentic and speaking from the heart and being of service, that if I'm in contribution, that there's no space for judgment.
Popular, will you stand up, please? Hi, how you doing? Your name is Doc. Hi, Doc.
Yeah.
So welcome. So tell me a little bit about, are you in the LAPD or you just like that shirt?
Oh, it's a popular shirt. It's Los Angeles popular. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And are you popular?
Yes. I want people to think I am.
Okay, good. And is it working for you? Great. Or do people walk up and be like, how do I get to be popular too? Right. You really want to know? Like,
I'm just joking.
because who here wants to be popular, right? Don't you want to have like people coming up to you like, what are you doing? I want to do it too. It looks like you're having so much fun. It's really a great button. It's good. So, what have you learned so far?
I've learned, one thing I learned a lot. I could talk forever about what I've learned from hearing you guys.
Can I just limit you for just not forever?
But we appreciate
One thing
that.
that stood out to me is something that he said, and it was it's important to learn a lesson from every experience. You know, it makes every experience a good one, even if it's a bad one. So I think that's important. You know, to always learn a lesson from every experience. It just makes everything, you know, life worthwhile.
Great. And so when you've learned certain lessons in your life, moving forward, how will you pay that forward? How will you take the lesson that you're learning? What will you do with it?
First and foremost, after you learn the lesson, you know, apply it. You know, moving forward to make yourself be better. You know,
Great.
Or even if you see someone else in a similar situation as to, you know, your situation where you learned that lesson, you know, helping them out, giving them that advice, you know, so that they can be better and they can spread the word in that matter.
Awesome.
I want to share the story. You want to keep going?
No.
Okay. So I appreciate you sharing, and it just reminded me of a story where I was working with someone, and his biggest frustration was every month was his bills. Like at the end of the month, he had his bills, and he just got so frustrated, and he got so annoyed because every month it's like he knows the bills are coming, so a couple days before the mortgage comes or the rent comes and the electric bill, and he would just get so frustrated. And so I was speaking with him, it's like, you know that the bills are going to come. They're not going to not come, right?
Probably the same day of the month, too.
Right. So you have a choice. How do you want to be about those bills coming? Do you want to be, oh, the bills are here again? It's like, yeah, you knew the rent was coming. Or can it be, great, okay, here they are. You have that choice. And just like you said, that you have the choice of what is the lesson. So you know that every invitation is not going to result in the person coming to the event. And are you going to beat yourself up about it, or are you going to learn a lesson about it? And you have your choice. And really, it's a great philosophy for life. And this is, something that Monica has taught me and I've adopted. It's having life be your curriculum. And everything that comes up is really intended, what's the lesson? What's the lesson? How do I grow? And I get to choose how I want to experience this.
It's great. Thank you. I love it. Oh my God, this is so awesome, you guys. Oh my God, my dreams come true. I speak in a really high voice when I'm really excited. So
Because I'm
right, I'm on one. No, and I have only got aloe and water. I don't even have tea.
I'm the one with the tea.
So part of what you guys are seeing is that the communication and that ease and comfort that people feel when we're engaged in a conversation where everyone's a part of it. Everyone in here, who here feels like you matter even though I haven't even called on you yet? Who here feels like I see you even though I haven't called on you yet? I'm watching you the whole time. You can raise your hand real up high. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name?
Avery.
Avery. That's my son's name. Hi, Avery. Welcome to the party. So, there are things that we have choices in our life. There were choices for you to get in your car tonight to drive here. There were choices for you on how you were going to get here. There were choices for you to say yes or no. There were choices for you to get involved in the Herbalife business. There were all of these choices, and sometimes we think that we earn the choices that were presented. But a lot more of the time, choices are constantly being presented, but if you aren't ready to receive, then you miss that the choice is there in front of you. And it may have been there all along. And so one of the things in the next level that I commit to is that I help you see all the choices that you have in front of you so that you aren't limited to only the choices you're making. Because sometimes the choices that we're making, we don't feel like we have the freedom to make. We feel like they're have-tos. And inside of have-tos, we're not creative, we're not innovative, we don't see beyond what we can see. We see the bills coming in and we feel the heaviness of what we haven't handled yet, instead of the possibility that's about to present itself to us around the corner because we're seeing it completely new. And so part of the invitation is for those things in your life that are obstacles and challenges, where are you putting your foot down to the choices that you have in front of you? And if you don't feel like you have any, who are your resources? What are the assets that you have? What are the tools that you have? Who are the people in your life with whom you engage that always make you feel just a little better after you leave them. That are the ones that ask you those tough questions, but you know that you're safe when they ask. They're those people that engage in conversations with you that you've had over and over and over, and most of the time people are like, really, this conversation again? But instead, these are the people that say, you know what, I really hear that conversation, but how would you have a different way of sharing that same conversation so that you can possibly stretch and grow it in a completely new way? And when we experience those different conversations, we have a different level of belief inside of ourselves and the impact we can make. So when we believe more in ourselves, so when you dress up and you get a new outfit and you're ready to go out on the town and you're excited because your friends invited you out and you're going to wear this new outfit and your friends are going to be like, you look so good and you're going to feel so great. You know that feeling you get inside of yourself, like you'll look yourself in the mirror, you'll wonder, does this look good? I think it does. And then you'll go out and your friends are like, oh, you look so great. It's so great to see you. And all of a sudden it's like confirmation of what you thought, but you weren't sure until you got the confirmation. This is what your assets and your resources in your life are intended to be for. They're intended to throw up the mirror and show you, are you loving yourself yet? I'm really trying to love you. Are you loving yourself yet? I'm really trying to show you. Are you showing yourself yet? I'm really trying to help you choose. Are you choosing yet? But we get upset because the way they deliver that message doesn't sound like the way we want it to. It's like, oh, God, that doesn't sound friendly. Oh, they didn't say that one with a smile. That must mean that they don't really love me. And we unfortunately collapse a whole bunch of the misunderstandings from something that ever happened in the past into the conversation that we're having with a person who wants to love us. So in this program, part of what we get to do is we get to take all those different things that we misunderstood along the way and thought that it meant something, or we assessed that it must be that we're not loved, or we're not important, or we're not valuable, and we can start seeing where we are loved, where that love is a definition that we define, and then we get to go look for it. So what I love to say to people is, we're not looking for how to solve our problems, we're looking for the solutions that are waiting for us. And when we're not just looking for solving the problems, we're not looking for problems anymore. Because if we want to solve our problems, we're going to go looking for a lot of them, and I guarantee you more will show up. But if you're looking for the solutions, then you're looking for what's the next opportunity for me to grow, learn, that life curriculum that Jen was talking about. Where's that opportunity for me to be a contribution as the solution? Or who in my life is already being a contribution and I just haven't let them be? We had this beautiful class earlier today, and one of the persons did a 6-month project. And at the end of the project, what they discovered was, in order to give the way they give, they're one of those people like, I give and I give and I give and I give and I give, and they don't feel depleted after giving. They feel very full and happy and great. But what they learned is, if you don't receive, you don't teach others how to give to you, and you don't teach others that they are being given to by you. Because if they don't see you receive it, they can't feel you receive it. So this is the opportunity that's available when we are getting together as a group of people, when we're connecting with our teams, when we're connecting with the people that we want the deepest relationships with, in a giving and receiving space, we can tap into our hearts, we can see them for who they are, we can connect with who they really are, and we can invite them to be everything that they want to be by just pointing out the most simple little things. By just pointing out the things we see right in front of us. How a person sits and pensively thinks as you're speaking to them. There's something inside of the position of her body. There's something that's happening. And if we can see it and point it out to people, we can receive what they're sharing with us and we can give back into it. And when you engage in those kinds of relationships and you catch those little nuances, you catch the little smiles, you catch the little nods, you catch the little moments where it's like, oh, I don't know how that felt for me. When you do that, you invite people into the moment with you. You invite people to be present with you. Have you ever heard of get present in the moment, be present? And it's an elusive term, like how do you get present? But it's in that moment where you see someone else and you have no other agenda and you don't need to be any other place and you're just with them for a moment. And you see all of them. You see the being that's on the outside, you see the soul that's on the inside. I also have a master's in spiritual psychology. And with that master's, what I've been taught to do is really develop and hone my intuition and some other gifts that I was born with that I pushed away and hid because I didn't think that I was entitled to have those gifts, because I was spending a lot more of my time proving to my dad that he should really love me, just the way that I am, but I wasn't a doctor yet or a pilot yet. So as I uncovered those moments in my life where I just wanted someone to get who I was, and it was like, I'd go and bang on the walls trying to have someone get who I was, and all I really wanted was a hug, or someone to know that all I needed was a hug and I just didn't want to have to ask. So in that program, in my master's program, one of the things that we learn is that we're not a human being with a soul inside of us, but actually we're divine beings having a human experience. And inside of that divinity, when we take that moment in present time to see someone, we see beyond the skin. We see beyond just the body that's on the outside housing this beautiful ember of a soul, whose desire more than anything else on the planet is to be loved and to love. And that in that moment where you see that loving experience, even if you're so upset with them, that becomes the common cause where you can meet them. And the moment you find the place where you have something in common, where you have some sort of alignment, all of a sudden now, the relationship with them has a chance to flower. It has a chance to blossom, because you see something in them that's inside of you. And at a fundamental, authentic, deep agreement inside, like, do you want to love? Do you want to be loved? I want to love, and I want to be loved too. And from that place, stepping into partnership, stepping into communication, stepping into building a community, stepping into the word trust. I mean, how many of you have heard, well, just trust, just have faith, just, but you have no access to it because you're hiding from the moment. You're hiding the most precious part of you. And so what I invite you to do is let it out. Peel the layers back. Let people see it in all of its glory. Shine that light so bright that they can't miss the sparkles on the inside. And from that place, you give them permission to sparkle too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and do you want to go just hot seat coaching, someone an issue, or do you want to talk about LDW? Which way do you want to go?
No, let's do hot seat coaching.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So many things happen on the calls. The calls are really a combination of a lesson. So what we do is we teach certain business skills. We teach something called mind dumping and time blocking so that you can clear all the clutter from your mind so that you can really focus on one thing at a time. Time blocking so that when you wake up in the morning, you already have your schedule so you know exactly what are you going to do that day so you can just be in action rather than waking up and saying, okay, what am I going to do today? So we teach some real basic business skills that are extremely effective. You know, we talk about limited beliefs and we work on personal development, and we also just work with people on things that are coming up for them in their business. And we use our training and our skills to really help people see whatever it is that they're working from, maybe in a different perspective. So we'd love to be able to do that with some of you tonight, depending on time. So who has something that is challenging them or stopping them in their business that they'd love to work on? Okay, so Chandler had his hand up first. Did you see anyone else?
Yeah, there's 3 people that I see.
Okay, so here's the thing. Remember that intuition thing? She, like, the voice is loud and her...
It's a really nice voice in my head.
Yes, it's...
It's like, oh, maybe pick them.
Okay, so
and then you'll pick them. And then no one will have a great day and it'll be great.
So who would you like to work with?
You in the very back.
So they can stand up? Okay.
Trey,
Come up.
Trey.
Come up. Come up, you want me to get some chairs?
No.
Or we're all going to stand?
No, we're going to stand.
Okay.
Come on in the middle.
Okay.
So, what's your name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Let's give a big round of applause for Lawrence. So, Lawrence, what did you learn so far today?
What's
one thing that sticks
one
out?
thing, how important relationships are. Just hearing you guys talk about your relationships and the little things that are included in it. So, yeah, just how important relationships are.
Do you see him? Yeah, let's get really close to him because he's a little nervous.
You feel it?
So Lawrence, how are you developing in your business, in your life? How are you cultivating relationships? Why is that one of the things that sticks out for you as important?
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to learn from the people ahead of me, the leaders, and how they carry their relationships.
Because once you learn that, then what happens?
I'll probably grow and grow my business.
Great. And what's your goal for growing your business? What do you want to happen for you?
I want to become a better me and just be able to make a big impact, help more people.
Okay, great. And is there anything that's preventing you or limiting you from being able to do that?
So a few things limiting me and preventing me from doing that.
Are they appropriate to talk about?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what are some of those things?
Yeah.
What are some things that's limiting me from growing my business? We could go all day, but
So hold on a second. So you guys just paying attention to how he is standing up here. So fidgeting, not finding his stance and being present with himself in the moment, like being okay with whatever's going on, that's something to notice inside of yourself. Because when you're not comfortable, everybody around you isn't going to necessarily feel comfortable being with you because they're going to wonder what you're not comfortable about. And then they're going to wonder, is he seeing something inside of me? Should I be aware of something I shouldn't be comfortable about? So that's just a little note for you. The other thing is when you put your hands in your pocket, it's like you don't want people to see you. When you cross your arms, it's like you don't want people to be with you. When you cross your hands, it's just important to know. When you cross your hands in front of yourself, it's like, I don't want to tell you the full truth about me, but I'll let you know what I want you to know. There's just these little motions that we have that help us see. Yeah, and sometimes we don't know exactly where to put our hands, so it's at some point it's comfort. But you want to be aware. In your case, especially when you first walked up, it was, I'm guarded. I mean, look at, what are you guarding? The most important thing to a man is what he's guarding. At least for now, until he opens his heart, I just got to go there, right? So that's something for us to know, is that there are actions, there are movements, there are body positionings. Val, you learned this early on, right? There are ways that you keep yourself separate from people. You keep yourselves away from people. You tell people, don't come near me, even though I want to talk to you about everything great in your life. And it's funny that we walk up to someone like, I really do want to talk to you. You're so important to me. Tell me everything about you. It's so important. But just don't get too close. Because if you get too close, then I might have to actually listen. And then if I actually have to listen, I might actually have to make an impact in your life, or you might make one in mine. And oh my God, I don't really know if I'm ready for that. So it's better for me if I just keep talking, keeping my hands right here and telling you how beautiful you are, and you can get things back. And that's really what a lot of our body positioning does. I mean, you can look at his face. It's like he's waiting for something to come and hit him. And it's fine as long as you're aware of it. As long as you're aware that, okay, this is how people out there might see me. But what happens is we try so hard to hide it, and then we don't see ourselves in the mirror that way. And no one trusts us enough, or we don't trust someone enough to tell them what we see. And then all of a sudden we wonder, why are people staying away from me? Oh, it's because I'm not letting them get near me. So the awareness is step one. It's really the first step. So did you learn something a little bit about your body positioning?
Yeah, I think I'm just a little shy.
That's fine. Shy is good. But shy is different than uninviting. You can be humble and you can be shy, but if you have your hands in front of you, you're just not going to have people want to be part of what you're a part of. And part of what you'll learn inside of the leadership is it's a heart connection, our business. Our business is about the very thing that shy people tend to stay away from, which is getting to know other people. But do you have very close friends, like a couple of really, really one or two close friends?
Mm-hmm.
So those people, can you be yourself with? Can you show up with?
Yes.
Yeah? So, and I'm asking him because I'm not going to assume that he does. There's a lot of people that don't have a lot of close friends because they've done this their whole life in order to avoid getting close to people because then they don't get hurt. But when you're with those close friends and you get to be who you are, it's like all the defenses and all the masks and all the stories and all the things you're trying to protect get to go away because you know they've got your back. You don't have to protect it anymore because they'll protect it for you if you forget to. And what I'm encouraging you to recognize is you don't need to protect it anymore because it's protected by you being you. When we're us, there's nothing else someone can tell us about ourselves that's like, oh my God, I didn't know that about myself. Like, we really know. Inside of us, we have all the resources that we need to be very successful in our life, in our business, in our communication, in our relationships, but we forget along the way that we have those resources. And then we start looking outside of ourselves for people that we can trust that will teach us, and then when they do something that hurts us, we think, I can't trust people. Not just, I can't trust this moment, we say, I can't trust people. And what becomes available for us when we realize we have what we need inside of us and that there's nothing to hide, that we don't need someone else telling us I got your back, that we have our own back, all of a sudden when we walk up to someone, we're literally inviting them to have their own back. So they don't have to make me feel small or wrong or insignificant because they've got their back, I've got mine, and now we can share on an even ground. It goes back to finding that common place where we meet. Is that a different way of thinking for you?
Yeah, it is.
In what way?
Because I kind of feel what you're saying now. I can almost feel it when I do approach people, how maybe I'm afraid about who got my back, and maybe it come off the same way with them. So that makes sense.
So what's one thing that you could do? Do you have anything to add before
No, I'm good.
Okay. So what's one thing that you could do this week that would help you practice this? So let's see if he understands the question. So what did you just hear?
Talk to more people openly. Like
So first of
invite-
all, what did you just hear me ask you?
what can we do to change this or to work on this?
So what's one thing this week that you could do to work on this? Yeah.
I just told you.
So what is it? Say it again.
Talk to more people openly.
Okay, so great. So imagine he feels shy, he doesn't feel connected, he probably does this a little bit, and now he's going to talk to a whole bunch of people. How's that going to go? Probably similar to how it's gone, right?
Hopefully not.
Right, hopefully not. Who here has a hopefully not in your world? Hopefully not. Hopefully they don't find out that, or hopefully they don't see this, or hopefully I don't do that wrong. Yeah, who has that? Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. So that's not going to be the answer. Knowing this and then going out and doing a bunch of invites is probably not going to make the difference. So now we have a different question on our hands. What would actually make the difference?
What do you think will actually make the difference?
Drop the pen. So step one is, if you don't know, ask. Most people come up with a whole bunch of answers. That was awesome.
Let's cut to
Want
the
you to
chase.
know?
Yeah.
Great. So if I wanted to find out how I could connect to people differently, I would actually practice connecting with people in different ways and seeing for them which one landed best. So why don't you pick someone that you'd like to practice with tonight? Oh, good. Avery, come on up. You know he was going to pick someone he's comfortable with. That can't happen. Come on.
What else?
So we're gonna walk up to him, and you're gonna just share a little bit about whatever you want to share to invite him to the business. So he's not an Herbalife distributor or member yet. He's brand new. He's your friend. Maybe you met him somewhere out on the street. Maybe you met him in the gym, wherever you feel comfortable meeting people or where you tend to be.
Okay.
And I'd like to see what you have to do based on what we just talked about. So you have an awareness about your body positioning and how you are. So let's practice right now. Okay? Now everybody in the room, don't just watch him. Watch from the lens of what is he doing that I would or would not do. Cool? Go.
All right. How you doing, bro? Good. How are you? How them workouts been going, man? Great, great. Nice, nice. So you want to come to my workout? It's your workout. We got group workouts, man. It's awesome. I can show you a couple videos on my phone. I think you will like it. Okay.
Okay, pause. Great. So, who here felt completely invited and comfortable with that invitation?
I didn't even feel comfortable.
So like I said, who here felt comfortable? Okay, great. So let's pick a few people. How come you didn't feel comfortable?
Well, one of the things was that he kept looking away from him when he was talking to him. So there wasn't like that complete connection. It was like he was looking away, but from a point of being unsure. So when you
Well, in your opinion, it's unsure, but it was
for
whatever
him,
it was
yeah,
for him.
that's what it seemed. That's what it seemed like. It was like he didn't make that contact because he was a little bit unsure about what he was doing.
Yeah, so there was something going on for him inside of probably the voices in his head. And so then he wasn't making direct eye contact, and that made you feel uncomfortable. Perfect, okay? What about over here, Popular?
I wouldn't say that I'm completely uncomfortable with this approach, because me personally, I feel like I'm a lot more understanding. I have a lot more patience, so I would carry on with the conversation. And I try to see that maybe what he's saying is valuable, but he might be shy. And
Okay, great. So you should only talk to people like him. They'll make the best people in your business. It'll be great. They'll give you all the time in the world, and you can just share whatever you need to share. You can be super shy. You can wear your mask and be great.
I'm not saying be that way, bro.
Do you see that certain people it's going to resonate with, and certain people it's not?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't resonate with it because he thinks it was really awesome and stellar. That's not what he said. What he said was, I would have compassion and patience to let you move through it.
Right.
So that's a really generous way of being. So when you are beginning to work on this and connect more with people, maybe some of the information for you is spend a little bit of time with people who are patient and can relate to what you may have gone through, or have people around them that have also gone through it, so that you can have the experience of that compassion, that patience, and there's no rush for you to get something.
Mm-hmm.
What the goal is for you to find in you, I'm at home. So now, what's something that you see about him that's interesting to you?
That shirt.
What about him is interesting?
Very bright.
So it's great, it's bright, okay? So a person that wears a bright shirt, what are some assumptions you can make about them maybe?
Probably was a little happy when he put it on.
So maybe he was happy. What else could it be? Like, could he be maybe bold, or could he be confident because he'd wear such a bright shirt in the world?
Yeah, he's confident.
Okay, so maybe he's confident. Maybe he wants to get people's attention.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now you're not in you worried about how you need to tell him, hi, nice to meet you, go to my workout, let's go. Right? Now you're assessing him. You're in his world over there, you're looking at what he's about, and you're making a little bit of an assumption. He's wearing a bright color. If I were wearing a bright color like that, what would it mean for you? If you wore that shirt, what would it mean for you?
I'm trying to Show out.
I'm trying to show off. This is important. So part of why he might be intimidated or nervous or shy is because that man over there is trying to show off and I'm not good enough. Dun, dun, dun. Right? But no matter what, it's still an assessment or an evaluation. Glad I'm making you laugh. It's still an assessment or an evaluation of something happening over there that's triggering something inside of him and impacting how he's going to show up or not. Oh, hi, it's so great to meet you, you really bright person. It's going to be really hard if he's a show-off and has ego and I'm not good enough to feel confident, to feel like I can actually talk to him. So, going back to what I asked you, so you noticed a few things about him. You noticed he had an orange shirt. Maybe it means he's happy. Maybe it means that he likes bright colors. Maybe it means that he likes to get attention. So now, go have a conversation with him, keeping that shirt in mind.
All right.
Okay? So stay out of your mind about this, and just have a conversation about him and his shirt.
What's going on, bro?
How you doing?
Nice bright shirt you got there. Where'd you get that from?
I got that from Herbalife.
Okay, nice. How much was it?
$10.
Ooh. You give me one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So now, first of all,
Yeah.
did you see how different he was?
Connected.
He wasn't worried about what that guy was thinking about him or what he was thinking about himself or the loud voices in his head. All of a sudden, he's like, I want one. How much was it? Can I have that shirt off of you right now? All of a sudden, he's this bold guy asking for a shirt. Right? So now you built a little tiny bit of rapport with him. He's liking that you like his shirt. Maybe he even manufactures them and it's another $10. It's perfect. And wait till he finds out about all these people here that want a bright, happy shirt too. Right? So all of a sudden you're now in his world. Now, what would be the next couple of questions that you might ask him based on that you now have a certain opening? The door just opened. Now, what are the next couple of questions you might ask him to be an invitation to him? Not with your agenda of the workout and the group workout, but about him. Find out about him. Why does he wear these bright shirts?
All right.
Go ahead.
Oh, ask him?
Yep,
Another
please.
question?
Yep.
Okay. Some nice shoes you got too. You like Nike?
Oh yeah.
Nice. I like Nike too.
Nice.
Keep going.
Yeah, so who is he? So he wears these bright clothes and he wears these Nike
Right,
shoes.
okay.
What does that mean about him?
So you must work out a lot, huh?
Yes, sir.
Right. Where you work out
Herbalife 24.
at? Okay, I do too. That was pretty good. Keep it going?
Yes.
More? Oh, okay. I'm not really that good at this carrying
You
on.
are really good at it.
Yeah, man, I like Nikes too. Where you get them from?
So you just opened the door to him, okay? You just asked him, you must like to work out. Now, that's bold, because it suggests to him something, and if he says yes, then you go with that. And if he says no, then what's your next response?
Different topic?
What do you like to do instead?
Right.
What do you like? Where do you do that? How do you do that? Who do you do that kind of stuff with? I have an amazing community. Would you love to find out about our community? I'd love to invite you down to one of the workouts so you can do more of the things you love with the people that I love. Would that be interesting to you? You're sharing life with this person. You open the doorway by inviting them in by something that you see, then it's not about you, and then you invite them. Now you become an open door to them wanting what you have. But you got to share it in such a way that they're going to maybe even want it or be curious about it. So you got to get out of your head. The minute you find the opening and he's like, yeah, I do work out. You got a yes. Now you want to cultivate the yes. What else are you excited about? What else do you like to do? Get more yeses and a lot more yeses. What else is exciting to you, Avery? What else do you like to do?
Oh. No, I'm saying what you're saying, but even though you're doing it with him, I'm seeing what you're saying, and I'm getting it like, okay, I'm seeing what you're saying with him, and wow, I'm seeing it like, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever had those moments in your life where you just are like, oh my gosh, I see this for the first time ever?
Yeah.
Isn't that so cool?
That just happened.
When did that just happen?
Just now.
And when you saw that happen, what does it make you want to go do about it?
Change some things that I see I've done.
Like what kinds of things?
Not noticing with the, like you said, not looking at the person, not noticing something that connects me to the person. So it's like I've done that too. Not made eye contact, but I'm seeing, like you pointed out to him, I'm seeing myself. Like, wow, like, okay, I need that pointer. I need that pointer. I need that pointer. So it's like helping me, while you helping him, it's helping me sharpen my skills too. So I'm sitting here looking like, okay, I see what she means by the interaction, and I'm seeing what I can focus on the shirt or something. I'm just picking that up as you're doing it with him. I'm picking it up like that's something that I need to do to make me be a better coach, to make me build my business a
And
little bit
why,
better.
Avery, is it important to you to be better? Why is that interesting to you?
Because I'm like him. I'm a person that I can talk about certain things, but I can't talk about certain things when it's like in a setting like
Sometimes
this.
I haven't been able to in the past.
Yeah, but now
Say that.
sometimes I haven't been able to in the past.
That's right. So you're talking about some pretty interesting things right now. And I love to hear about the interesting things you're talking about. Are there any other interesting things that you like to talk about? Like what?
My cooking,
You like to cook? What kind of food?
all types.
Awesome. That whole conversation is an invitation. It doesn't just stop at the, I like your t-shirt, let's go to a workout. I got to know who he is. I got to make him valuable and important for a moment with me. And he got to learn a little bit about me. And the minute he opened up, it's like, oh yeah, and I saw this. And then I got, oh my God, you did? That's great. What else have you noticed that about? I'm just taking every question that he has and like, tell me more. Tell me more. I've got all day long. What else do you want to tell me?
Right.
And now, whatever I say next, I'd love to invite you to something. Would you like to find out more about it?
Yes.
Like, he has now the conditioning. Yes, 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 yes. The next question I ask him, he's probably going to be a yes even before he knows that he was a yes. And none of that happens when you're thinking he's a show-off. Because you're out of him and in you. Let's give a big round of applause. So what did you just learn?
What did I just learn? So it was confirmation. I saw something that you say all the time is, I want to know you. You know, what Monica just did is what she does often. It's having a curiosity about people. And I just saw how you did that. By the way, I also saw, like I was just watching you do it, watching you speak with him, and then I realized, oh, she's doing the invitation. And it was so great. And so, but really, it's about having a curiosity about people. And it's like, I wonder who this person is. We're all the extraordinary people, and we've all had journeys. And most people are dying for somebody to ask them about who they are, and what they love, and what they're excited about. And when you connect, I'm excited. I want to cook with you. I want you to cook for us. Let's hang.
I know. Someday, I'm ready.
You know?
Come on over, Avery.
Another series.
And I just, but what I also learned is how much, it's just so easy. We go through life, or I go through life, when you're speaking and you start with the we or the you. It's helpful to maybe go to the I. So I go through life and I see so many people and I just don't get to know any of them. Because there's so many people. We're such a massive society. I don't have the time to meet everybody. But when I actually stop and take a moment and ask some questions, then it's like, oh wow, that person's amazing. That person's fascinating. And that's when a real connection happens, and that's when a real invitation can occur.
Yeah, and a relationship is built. You know, for every person who's never met me before or who's never seen me, the only reason you're here is because someone said something that had you say yes inside. Oh, I'll be there. I'll check it out. I may not like it. I may love it. It may be good for me. It may not be. But you're in the seats with a stranger talking about things that you may or may not agree with. And there was something inside of you that pulled you forward. Now, my job in front of the room is to honor that. To honor the choice inside of you that had you be here. And if I don't, then I miss a very big part of the relationship that I'm building with you. I miss who you are, what your life was about, how you got here, what's important to you, what you gave up to give here, who you're doing this for, what difference you want to make in the life of your family, of your loved ones, of your children. I take that for granted, and we have no rapport anymore. So I've learned that you matter. Every single one of you. I could sit down with every one of you, and there's something about your life that I have to learn from. Something about your cooking, something about your experience, something about the fight that you had with a friend of yours. Like, I have something to learn from every single one of you. And so long as I know that, and so long as I honor that you've got stuff in your life, just like I have stuff in my life, just like you have stuff in your life, then we are similar. And that's where we meet. Even when we're complete strangers, that's where we meet. And now my job is then to open the doorway for us to start sharing about it. And the more safe the sharing about it is, the more you'll share. And the more you share, the more someone sitting next to you is going to hear, oh, I like that conversation. That's interesting. Let me get a little bit closer so I can hear a little bit. Oh my gosh, I really love you. You're amazing. This is awesome. Like I said, my new best friend. Right? It's like that quick. It can happen that quickly. And in our community, we build our arms around people to make it that safe. Everything we're doing creates the culture of safety so that when we bring people into the Fit Lab, Culver, Garen's Place, the park, the beach, when we bring people in, it's like, this is a place to land and get a hug. You're going to get a high five from someone. You're going to get a smile from someone. That's why it's so important to have the values and the core of a culture that you feel you resonate with. And the more you rise to emanate that culture and be those ways of being together, the more you invite the kind of people that you want to be around even more. And then you solidify those little mini conversations and those little mini relationships that just grow and blossom and grow and blossom. And when you get scared to not share, you cut out the opportunity for those people to find their people. And we're some pretty darn good people, right? I mean, we have some really amazing life stories that for someone will change everything for them. And as soon as you start celebrating those moments and those life stories and all those things you've overcome, someone else is going to have a great life because of it. So Rachel, do you have the piece of paper, please? I think it's in the little box right there.
I want to acknowledge them for being up here and for some people, what people learn from watching it.
Yeah, great. But I also want to acknowledge Rachel for a minute.
Okay, good.
So as soon as she brings the paper up, I'll acknowledge her. So just like I'm sharing with each of you the value that you each bring to people, there are people in our lives that every day do exactly what we need them to do, sometimes asked. It fell on the floor, sweetheart. Sometimes asked and sometimes not asked, and they still show up and they do unbelievable things for us. So one of those people in my life is Rachel. Turn around. Let's give Rachel a big hand. She is one of those people that works behind the scenes making me look great. So thank you for everything you do to support everything that we do. If you don't make a difference in my life, I can't make a difference in any life. So thank you. So Jan wanted to acknowledge the people who came up.
Yeah, so I want to thank you for coming up here and for being brave and really just allowing us to share with you and work with you. I want to know who learned something from watching that happen. So I just want you to get that.
Oh my gosh, Lawrence, look, you made an impact with all these people, even though you're shy. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I just really want to acknowledge that and thank you for making that impact. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Thank you. Thanks for standing up. I know it's uncomfortable. We're fit coaches. All right, so in the next level 1, a couple of things you'll walk away with. Number 1, setting powerful intentions for your life and business, just like Jan and I started at the beginning of the evening. When you set an intention, it allows for things to manifest in your life. Number 2, keys to creating achievable goals. To understanding goals and outcomes and making a difference in people's lives requires that you're aware of the goals that you have, the dreams that you have, and the tools and the resources and the people that can help you. Notice that if Lawrence hadn't so ingeniously asked for assistance, he might still be standing up here wondering. But instead, he just got out of his own way, out of his own assessment of what he was supposed to know, and just asked a beautiful question. The moment we ask, all of a sudden we're a contribution to another person. Now we get to receive, they get to contribute, and we just told them your contributions matter. And then the cycle goes on and on and on. We teach more and more people that they matter. Number 3, we add velocity to the business by defining a clear mission statement and very clear core values. We also identify, transform, and overcome obstacles that are preventing you from moving forward in your life, in your communication, in your relationships. And we develop and help you develop a mindset for success, understanding what your definition of success is. Because sometimes someone in our life when we were really young gave us a definition of success that we bought into thinking it was what we believed in, but it was someone else's definition. And we get to look at a lot of definitions of things in our life and decide, was that someone else's definition and I don't know if I believe in that? Or is that my definition too, and how am I going to practice living from that? Then we also look at how to produce results with velocity, with consistency, and a lot of that goes back to who is around us, what are our assets, and how do we celebrate who we are and why we do what we do. And as you uncover those things, you can hold for more people, you can show up more in who you are, trusting in yourself, loving yourself for who you are and the gift that you are. And when you start to see one gift, many more gifts start showing up. Because until you see one, the other gifts say, I don't want to not be valuable or not be important, so I'm going to stay hidden. But the minute you start seeing one, a whole bunch of other gifts start saying, oh, well, I can help too, and I can help too. Do you need my help? And all of a sudden, you find yourself having more and more tools, skills, capacity to hold and be something for people. So this program starts on Monday, May 12th. It costs $300 to participate. It's a 1-hour call from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning. You get an accountability partner that you speak to every day. You become part of a secret Facebook group where you're posting numbers, you're sharing what you've learned, you're connecting with people, you're getting inspired by the things that they're having breakthroughs from, you get inspired by the things that challenge them, and then they figure out how to move around it. So there's a lot of opportunity to grow inside of that communication. And then you get put into a mini group of people, which is a few accountability partnerships in a group of people, and those people, it's called a pod, and inside of that pod, a MIL team member or a PRES team member inside of our ADDIE organization supports you to achieve the goals that you're going after. So if I can invite 2 people to share from their experience inside of the next level. Jenna, will you come up right now since you're in the program right now? Thank you. So Jenna, I want to really acknowledge you for how amazing you are at tuning into what you need. So when I came to the club, because I come here quite often, and I came up to Jenna and I said, are you ready to take the next level yet? And he said, I'm not sure, and I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm wondering about this. And there was all of the stuff in the way of him making a powerful choice for himself. And at the end of the day, he powerfully chose, yes, I'm going to do it. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I can count on myself for. And I work, so I don't know if I can show up to every one of the calls. Can I still do it, and how does that impact? And what you've done is not only have you shown up for many of the calls and had to get off a little bit early, but all the calls are recorded so we can go back and listen to whatever parts he missed. But then he also had an accountability partnership where he didn't feel like he was getting what he needed out of it. And he reached right out to me, because it's one of the things that I ask of people. Please reach out. Don't make that something you feel you have to overcome. Let's be partners about it. And he reached out, and he now has an accountability partnership because of what he has asked for. And he's gotten to really cultivate the accountability partner that he had to being a better accountability partner for himself because of what he was standing for what he wanted. So I think that's really an amazing thing, because a lot of people wait until the end and say, you know, my accountability partner just didn't show up the way I would have wanted them to, and you really got out of it what you wanted. So thank you.
So my experience has been a lot of growth, of course, which is what we're there for. The biggest thing has been realizing why my life has gone the way it's gone. And when you're in the program, like she said earlier, it's really a mirror up to your what you're good at and what you're not good at. And then a lot of times you start questioning yourself.
I
started questioning myself. Am I what I want the coaches that I work with to be? Am I what I want them to be? So if I know I'm supposed to call my accountability partner and I don't feel like calling him, what does that say about me if I let myself don't call him, not call him? So forcing myself to call him and saying, like, this is what this program is about. After a while, you start to create the habit. I start to create the habit of being consistent, and it's like knowing that we have this accountability partner, knowing that someone else is waiting for you, or someone else is in this with you, like you're in a foxhole together. If I don't do my part, then what am I setting my partner up for? Almost failure. And so, like she was saying earlier about being responsible for someone's success, and then turning that into being responsible for how someone becomes successful. It's kind of like, okay, it's not my fault if my accountability partner doesn't reach a certain level, but it is my fault if I don't give them what they came. It's my opportunity to give them what they came to this next level for. So putting that responsibility on me is like forcing me to be more of a leader than I've been. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide whether I want you to share because of the project that you just went through, or if I want you to share because it was a different experience. You've had ins and outs in the experience.
We can both share succinctly.
Okay, come on, both of them. Great.
Can I see?
So your names.
Hey, my name is Elise. My all first name. So wow, there's a lot that I could say about the next level and Monica and this whole process. The very first time that Monica launched this, I was a part of it. And so I've been a part of it for 2.5, 3 years now.
2 years.
2 years now. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. And the awareness that I've gained throughout the 2 years is, I mean, I really am a completely different person. I was the right person. I wanted to be right. I've always been someone who, in the past, was a people pleaser. I would do everything for other people, no matter if it hurt me or, you know, whatever it was. I wanted to make sure people were happy, and I wanted to make sure people were happy with me too. And so it was a lot of wanting to have that confirmation that people saw me. I didn't have that worthiness or that belief about myself that I was worthy. And through the Next Level program, especially in 1 and 2, that's really what I discovered in the first 2 programs was, wow, I'm worthy. I actually have a voice. And, you know, growing up, I had a lot of people that spoke for me, and I never really learned how to speak what I really wanted to speak. And so the first couple of programs, I learned I'm worthy, and I learned that I had a voice. Then as I started going into the Next Level 3, I really learned that how to actually use my voice and know that when I'm sharing, I actually am a contribution, and knowing when to share, how to share, and being in a space of that contribution. And Lawrence, when you were up here, and you know, there was that example of, you know, when it wasn't about the judgment anymore and you were fully of contribution. Judgment has been something that's been a common theme of mine as well, judging myself, so therefore judging others, and making it about me instead of them. And when I learned to use my voice, and when I learned to know that I had something of value to share, it's no longer become about me. And it's really about the other person, and learning the conversations, listening to Monica countless hours, how she coaches, how she asks the questions, and learning to see multiple points of view and multiple perspectives. And then once I realized that I could use my voice and learning how to share my voice, then it became taking this away. Because I was one of those people that walked around like that for a lot of the time, and people who maybe were not aware maybe didn't know that I was walking around like this. And for a long time, I didn't even know I was walking around like this. But I've learned to become vulnerable and to surrender. For me, surrender is a really, really big piece that I've learned, like really breathing in the moment, getting connected, listening to my intuition, listening to myself, hearing my voice so that I can make a decision from the place that I know that's going to support me and others, versus listening to that voice that used to be loud in my head that is no longer as loud, that I can really surrender, listen, trust what I'm hearing, and then be able to express it and give that back to other people. So that's the process. When Monica was referencing my project, I just did a process and learned that that was my process of life. Like, when I am truly in my power, truly in my truest self, my authentic self, it's when I've surrendered, I've listened, I've trusted what I'm hearing, and then I'm able to express it. So for me, that's my personal process, and that's what has been serving me. And Monica and the Next Level has been amazing, and been amazing for my team, the team, and it's really awesome that you guys are here tonight to hear from her and have a piece of this, even if you're not yet an active supervisor. Like, to even be in this conversation is absolutely unbelievable. So thank you both for being here and sharing that.
I should have went first.
She is a badass when it comes to taking care of the behind the scenes at massive events at LDW.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. So this is I've done Next Level 1, and I've done Next Level 2 twice. And, you know, these are like two of my best friends, and I just met Terry. But Christina's, I've known her since she was 14, so I knew the value of this, and I was like, even though you're not an active supervisor, like, come and just listen, and like, you'll share, like, almost, I was like, wow. Yeah, so I'm excited for you. But for me, it was very confronting when because there was a lot I was working on, and I definitely knew I was in my own way. And I was telling Christina and them that, like, me and Monica had this thing, like, when I know she's going to call on me when we're on the call, it's this thing. And she'll go, so, Erica! She was like, did you know I was going to call on you? I was like, yes. So I've already unmuted my phone, ready to go, because I knew she was about to call on me. So I'm still working on things, but I think the most valuable thing is just showing up in life. And the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. It is so true. I'm a completely different person. I wasn't a bad person before I started Herbalife, but it's like, really accepting who you really are and then working on it, whatever that is. There's a lot of things where I didn't want to face it, and I was just like, it's like you find out that thing about yourself, and you're like, damn. So but then it's like, okay, stand up to it, face it, figure it out, work on it. Brooke has been a huge part of my growth because she doesn't let me give her any excuses, and that's just the story you're telling yourself. That's what she always says to me. So we really get the choice to, like you were saying, choose whether, whatever this is, it's like you choose how to react to it. Like we all have a choice. So I'm becoming more fearless, and I had lost my mojo, because I went through a really tough breakup, and I really lost my mojo right before I came here. And Brian found me at a very good point. So I thank you for talking to me and not giving up, because it took me like a year to actually come down, because I kept giving him excuses, gas, traffic, I was sleepy. I don't know what I said, but finally I came down, and I don't know. I was in it for a year, and then I just decided, okay, let me just do this. Let me open up, be vulnerable, and whatever it is, give it to me. I'm just gonna do it. So, so that's what I'm becoming fearless and just I'm authentically thriving. That's gonna be my next tattoo. Don't anybody steal that, because I'm gonna know. So, all y'all out there, don't even think about it. So that's authentic, being your authentic self and just connecting with people at that level. And that's what I do now, or that's what I try to do. I know I'm still working on things, but I really try to connect with people and meet them where they are and not judge. I'm working on that too. And yeah, so I appreciate you for bringing me.
So for those of you that are not an active supervisor, obviously the next time the program is going to be offered is in September, which gives you plenty of time to move through the marketing plan and really get to the position. For those of you who are brand new in the room, please definitely go and talk with the person that invited you and really get a sense of what does that mean? What does active supervisor mean? What is our marketing plan? What does all of that mean? So it's really clear for you, and if it's something that you want to be a part of, this kind of conversation, this kind of a community, a place where people see you, a place where people believe in you, a place where people authentically really want the best for you, then you've found a really great place. And I really acknowledge you for saying yes to something that is brand new for you. It's really awesome. Same with everybody in the Ustream. This is a beautiful opportunity to share with people the kind of community that we are. So I appreciate everybody that was willing to share, everybody that was willing to participate. Rachel is here. If you are eligible, please definitely go see her. And if you're ready to register tonight, excellent. If you have more questions, you can ask me or anybody that's participated in the program. And if you're online, definitely get in touch with Rachel. Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys didn't sign in, please do that as well.
Oh yes, there's a sign-in sheet. So we do all of our numbers and tracking. It's a big part of my business. So if you can make sure that before you leave, you just fill in the sign-in sheet, that would be really awesome. So anybody that's online, I have a special gift for anybody that registers on the night of a bonus class. And it's really near and dear to my heart. I love it. It's like a very special thing. Rachel, do you have the book? So this is something that's really important to me. We talk a lot in our business and in this organization about gratitude. And we talk about if you're writing in a gratitude journal every single day, your level of gratitude in your life actually goes up. And there's a study, I forget if it's Harvard or Stanford, but there's a study that says that when you are grateful every single day, you share what you're grateful for, that your happiness goes up 25% in your life. So it's a gratitude journal, and I do it as a reward for people who are ready to make a commitment and jump in. So anybody that's ready, if you're online, definitely connect with Rachel. And I don't know the best way to get it to them. You can either text it to them. Laura, maybe you can put it up on the 24Fit team page. It's support, the word support, at nextlevelteams.com. Support at nextlevelteams.com. Reach out to Rachel so that if you register tonight, you get a journal. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate your attention.
I want to, again, thank you,
Yes.
Laura. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, all the leaders here, for having us come and be able to share. We love you all so much, and it's so great to be here. It's like, this is such a wonderful space, and you guys are all so amazing. And being up here in front of the room, it's so wonderful speaking to you all, smiling faces. Just so you know, it makes such a difference when you're up here speaking to people, when people are looking back at you and there's eye contact and there's smiles. It's like, just makes it so easy and wonderful and allows us to really share authentically. So just thank you all very much for all your time, for being here tonight.
Thank you, everybody. Wow, love you.
I'm gonna post my next level numbers.
Do you want to send a message on here? So I could stop the recording?
Yeah.